Happy Monday, everyone, and happy birthday, Cynthia, and happy belated birthday, Gwen. We're gonna have a fun little burner for you guys, a nice short little AMRAP to get you guys going. Hope you guys enjoy. You can push this one, or you can kind of keep it just steady as you go. But before we get to that, let's talk about our warm-up. Our warm-up is gonna consist of a wide stance, good morning, for 5 reps, side lunge for 4 to 6 at a 303 tempo, so pretty slow. Into a single leg RDL for 3 aside and a single leg pistol at 3 aside. There's no specific tempo, but 3 second down or 3 second eccentric is always a win. It's always a nice way to go with these things, just to work on opening up that tissue and opening up those positions for later on. After that, we're gonna work that bridge pullback for 5 and a 5 to 10 second kind of isometric hold and draw back with those legs, and we'll hit that 2 to 3 rounds. After that, we're gonna work on our dumbbell work. We're gonna do a dumbbell deadlift for 5, dumbbell hang power clean for 3, into a dumbbell push press for 2, and then repeat on the opposite side if you have a single dumbbell, and work through that way. If you have 2 and you like to practice with 2, you can. We're using a single dumbbell in the workout today, so it's going to be a nice quick kind of transition, but if you want to work with 2 or 1 in the warm-up, that's up to you. After that, we're going to do some calf raises just to get those legs and feet kind of ready to go. We're going to hit that up for 2 to 3 rounds just to kind of get things ready for action, and then we're going to move into a practice round. So the practice round is just going to be more so a couple cleans, working on the transition with the dumbbell, and a little bit of jumping. So working on some skipping, some ankle pops, some dumbbell lateral jump overs, whatever you feel comfortable and want to work on to get you ready for the work set. The workout today is a 7-minute AMRAP. So we're going to go as many rounds as possible in 7 minutes. Dumbbell clean and jerk at 6 alternating. So you'll clean, press it up, switch hands, clean, press up. We're going to alternate for 6. Then you're going to move into 21 air squats and 42 double unders, or double under equivalent in terms of your work set. So we're going to be able to cycle that pretty quick. You can push those air squats, you can keep them as kind of recovery or just steady state, whatever you need to do, but you're going to rock that for 7 minutes. So we're going to see where that takes us in terms of overall rounds. Let's warm up, let's get you ready, we'll have some fun today. Alright, let's get those feet under the hips. We'll take the arms big and tall up overhead. We're going to stretch it over to one side. We're going to come back up and over and stretch to the other side. From here, we're going to come back to center. We're going to reach overhead. We're going to come back down with the shoulders and take it all the way down to the floor, touching those toes. Walk up those shins. We'll come down, frame a foot, and step it back into our lizard. Nice and solid here. We'll bring our hand to the front on that front foot. We're just going to turn to that outside hand. We'll come back to center and lower the back knee, pressing that hip. We'll come back to center, press the hip, come back to center, and press the hip, back to center. Plant the hand, we're going to straighten out the back leg. We'll step back into our down dog. Setting those shoulders, we'll come back into that nice lizard on the other side. Inside hand is going to be on that positioning, and we'll turn towards the outside hand, back to center, lower, press the hip, back to center, press the hip, back to center, and press your hip back to center. Straighten out that leg, plant the hand, we'll step back into our down dog, reaching those hips into our plank, tiptoe those feet all the way up. We're gonna roll ourselves up, big stretch, big tall reach to one side, big reach to the other side. Let's bring it down and get you guys fired up and ready to go for what's to come. So if you like to pause the video, take that down, pause it, work on some more gentle kind of warm up, get things ready for action, and come along with me for our next phase of warm up. All right, let's start off our day together with some wide stance good mornings. So I'm going to turn profile so you guys can see, but I'm going to go pretty wide. Wide enough though I can still open my hips up and stand up nice and tall, okay? So what I want to think about is setting my glutes, setting my ribs, and I'm pulling back at that hip crease so that my head to hip crease moves at one block. We'll come back up, big squeeze. And again, as I pull those hips back, that's what pulls the hips back and the body forward. The knees soften just a little bit so that allows me to open up and hit that good position. So we're not trying to keep the legs locked out. We're going to allow them to soften at that soft angle just to feel the hamstrings and come back up. So from here, once we're done our 5 reps nice and slow, we're going to move into our side lunge. And these are going to be pretty slow. And I'm going to stay facing this way so you can see the direction that my hip goes towards my heel. My toes are going to be slightly turned out, my glutes are engaged, I'm nice and tall. I'm going to pull the hip towards my heel, thinking squat. So I'm going to think about my squat mechanics. I'm going to push into that leg, opening up the hips, and then I draw the hip towards my heel, thinking about keeping that chest upright, body nice and tall, just like a squat, and then open up that position. So I'm going to take that down at a 3-second down, 3-second up tempo, nice and slow. Just give myself a chance to open up those hips, but I want you to pay attention to that body position and posture. We want to make sure that as we're lowering from hip to heel, our body's not coming more parallel to the floor. We stay more upright at about a 45, just like our squat mechanics allow us. From that wide stance, good morning, and side lunge, we're going to move into our hip width position, and we're going to work on a single leg RDL. Now our toe is going to come down as a kickstand. I'm going to squeeze my glutes, hips are square, shoulders are back. We're going to do these unloaded today, but we're going to pretend like we're holding on to a dumbbell to keep those shoulders engaged and the upper back solid. We pull the hips back into that nice hinge. So again, just like the good morning, we're working on drawing the hip back at the hip crease to get that nice hinge action. And then from here, we squeeze and stand tall. So we pull back, working on that good hinge, soft knee for that base leg, and stand. Weight through that midfoot. Now from here, we're going to keep this toe down perhaps, and maybe move a little closer maybe. We're going to work a single leg pistol. So that single leg pistol, instead of hinging like in our RDL, we're going to squat. So we're going to think hip to heel. So we take it down, keeping that body nice and upright. Weight through that midfoot of that balancing leg. We're going to push through that leg. That's doing the work. The kickstand leg is just sort of there to help get us out of the bottom and help us with balance. So if you're getting better with these and we're getting good depth, good positioning, you can load this movement a little bit if you'd like to add some more difficulty to it. Once you're loading them and you're getting that same depth control, we can bring that foot to the back of the heel, and then we do the same thing. Hip to heel, nice and tall, nice and upright, pushing through that balancing leg, and standing tall. Now, we can still get that foot assist when it's pushing against the back of the heel, but it doesn't help us with balance anymore. So now the balance is the issue that we have to add in that makes that movement harder. All right, so play with those if you'd like. Kind of go back and forth and see how those different variations feel for you. Certain days may have a better flow. Some days you might have to put that foot down, depending on how your legs feel. Now our last exercise, we're going to bring everything together. So we're going to bring it all together and wake up those hamstrings. So we're going to get our feet set up just outside our fingers. My hands are going to press down to the floor gently. I'm going to squeeze my ribs in so I set that good hollow. I'm going to lift my hips up, and then from here I'm going to transition my weight to the balls of the foot and then pull my heels back. And in that pull back, I'm going to feel my hamstrings kick on, and then I'll relax and lower down. So there is a difference, again, what we talk about in this movement. When we shift our weight to the balls of the feet, I lift up, I shift my weight. I'm not pushing into my toes. I'm just bringing the weight to the balls of the foot so that maybe there's a little bit of space there underneath my foot. But I'm not trying to push into my toe and put a lot of extra tension on the calf. I'm just shifting my weight forward a bit so that when I pull back, it's like I'm trying to pull my heel back to my glute or pull the floor back with that foot being in contact with the ground. And that's what's going to kind of feel and get that sensation through the hamstring, really fired up. We've talked about this before, all right? 5 to 10 seconds is a nice range, but I want you guys to really listen to your body so that we don't cramp our hamstrings up. We want to feel the sensation in the hamstring, but we don't want to necessarily go beyond that point that we can tolerate and have our hamstrings go yick and tighten up on ourselves, okay? So really listen to the body there. Take your time. We got 5 reps of that. Build and hold and accumulate that time as you need to. Even if it's just under 5 seconds, that's fine as well. If you can only tolerate 3-second holds, that's fine. Quick recap, we have a wide stance, good morning, for 5 reps. Side lunge for 4 to 6 at a 303 tempo. 3 per side single leg RDL, 3 per side single leg pistol or foot assist pistol. Then we have our bridge pullback for 5 reps and a 5 to 10 second hold. We just talked about that in terms of some ranges, so please listen to the body and see where it takes you. 2 to 3 rounds, it's going to get things really fired up, get those hamstrings ready to go, and then we're going to move into our next phase with some dumbbell work. So, pause the video, take that down, get things fired up, ready to go. We're going to start playing with some skill work to get you ready for the workout. Alright, so with today's workout, we're actually working with a single dumbbell today in the workout. But if you'd like to practice with 2, you're more than welcome to. I'm going to demonstrate with the single so that we can kind of play around some different stuff. So first things first, I'm going to take the dumbbell from between the feet. I find that it works really well in terms of transitioning for our clean and jerk that we're going to be using in the workout. Very similar to a dumbbell snatch, taking the dumbbell to the shoulder. All right, so I'm going to demonstrate everything from the middle. If you're more comfortable taking it to the side, you are more than welcome to take it to the side. All right, so I'm going to stand over top of my dumbbell, and I'm going to get set. Glutes are tight, ribs are set, my body is engaged like I'm going to do a nice heavy deadlift. I'm going to pull the hips back and down. The hips are going to come a little deeper with this so I can get to the bottom and get to that deadlift or that dumbbell. My back position is what I'm after here. Really focusing on the back position. I push through those legs, maintaining the angle between the hip and the shoulder as I come up. And then once I get the dumbbell past the knees, I'll open up that hip. So again, taking it back and down. I don't need to take it all the way to the floor, just to where I can maintain that back position and stand. So working on that range of motion, trying to figure out where it's going to be for me today when I'm actually in the midst of my workout, whatever my range of motion will allow me for today. Next exercise that we have after our deadlift for 5 is our hang power clean. So I'm going to take the dumbbell to the knee, so I get that same hinge just to the knee. Then I'm going to pull that dumbbell to the shoulder by pressing through the legs. So I push through the legs into that power position, stand tall, feet come under, dumbbell comes back down. I find that good hinge, taking the dumbbell to the knee. I push through those legs, big drive, find that power position, come back down. I do that for 3 reps. Now in this last one, I'm going to stay up because we're moving into our push press. But I want you guys to think about, even though this is pretty light, and you could probably just curl it up to your shoulder, I want you to think about pulling under that dumbbell and getting used to landing in that power position. It's a skill thing, it's a control thing as well. Regardless of the weight of the dumbbell, we should be able to do all those movements as is the same, all right, and make sure that we're practicing the skill for speed, pulling under that dumbbell, because it transitions to pulling under the barbell. We train our body in that way, in that mechanism. So if we always muscle things, our body never really learns to pull under, right? Regardless of the apparatus we're using. Now, that was a side tangent. We'll get back to the clean and get that dumbbell to the shoulder. I pull the dumbbell back to my knee, I get set, push through the legs, find that position, set my feet up. I'm going to work my push press now. So my feet are nice and flat, weight through the midfoot, my glutes are tight, my shoulders are set, and I'm going to get that nice vertical dip, so my shoulder stays over top of my hips, my weight is still through the midfoot, and then I'm going to drive out of that to get the dumbbell up to the sky. So I dip, push, come back down. I get set, dip, push, come back down. So that dip and drive does most of the work in terms of getting that dumbbell overhead into that overhead position. In that overhead position, you want to think about keeping those ribs in, that shoulder away from the ear, and that bicep in line with the ear or slightly behind the ear, depending on what our range will allow. The other side of things is I want to think about locking out that elbow so it's nice and straight, and that dumbbell is nice and supported over our midline the entire time. All right? After that, you'll repeat that on the opposite side. 5 deadlifts, 3 hang power cleans, 2 push press. If you want to add in a little overhead hold there, you can. But then we're going to move into some calf raises. So the calf raise, you can work loaded by holding the dumbbell by the bells, suitcase style, front rack style, whatever you'd like. We're going to maintain that good position. Feet are under the hips. For this one, I'd like your toes to be straight ahead. So we can really work on some ankle range and maintaining balance between the big toe and the pinky toe. I squeeze my glutes, set my ribs, push onto my toe, and then I come back down. And for most people, thinking about that big toe is going to help a lot. All right? So for most people, we struggle with that big toe and staying square because we tend to roll out onto the side of our pinky toe. Really focusing a little bit more attention to that big toe can really help maintain that nice square foot and build some good, strong ankle control. So take your time with them. They don't have to be pauses or tempos, but we want to make sure that we're pushing with good balance, we're able to maintain a little beat at the top, and then we lower with control, nice and steady for 20 to 30 seconds. As a quick recap for that piece, we have a dumbbell deadlift for 5, hang power clean for 3, dumbbell push press for 2. If you're going to practice with 2 dumbbells, that's fine. If you're using 1, like in the workout, just do all on one side, all on the other side, and then we can choose to hold dumbbells or not for our calf raises of 20 to 30 seconds. Don't worry about an amount of reps there, just move for balance for a good 20 to 30 seconds. You'll hit that for 2 to 3 rounds, and now we're going to move into our practice round where we're going to bring the whole clean and jerk movement together for you guys to work in the workout. Pause the video, take it down, come back and join me. We're going to get that body ready before we tackle that 7-minute AMRAP. All right, so we've broken down the clean and jerk into multiple phases of the movement. The deadlift, the hang power clean, the push press. Now we're going to do the movement all together. So basically what we're doing is just joining and smoothing out those movements into one smooth flow. So the movement is like so. I will come down to the floor, I will get set, I'll take the dumbbell, take it all the way through, that nice smooth clean, and I'm going to push press, or I will jerk, depending on how much weight's overhead. And come back down, switch hands, do it again. Now, I went pretty low on that clean. You don't have to land it in full squat clean, but if you'd like to, you can. We're doing a bunch of air squats right after it in the workout, so I would probably suggest landing in a power. But the movement, again, there's 3 different variations we can play with. First variation, I'm going to do power now. We take the dumbbell down to our depth, we clean it, we stand, adjust, push press, or push jerk. Our other variation that we can play with is taking it down, we clean it, and push right out of that clean, right into that push press, or right into that clean, right into that jerk. So either one of those is legit, all right? So you can play around with what you feel comfortable with. Most people are pretty comfortable cleaning it into that push press position. If you start to notice fatigue starting to settle in, your body's starting to go, whoo, I'm getting tired, I don't know if I can do that anymore. There's nothing wrong with adjusting to the clean, stand, set, push press. There's nothing wrong with that, or jerk, either one. But there's nothing wrong with kind of mix and matching those 2 styles. All right, flowing right into that press or keeping that clean and jerk into 2 separate movements. It's up to you and what you're comfortable with. The biggest thing we want to think about, all right, in this movement set is that good receiving position. So I'm in a good squat position here, little power squat, and a good overhead position. So we want to make sure that we keep those 2 pieces really solid and really focus our attention. If we start landing that clean like so, we need to fix this because this is not a very good landing position. It's very compromised and puts a lot of pressure here and a lot of pressure on those knees. So we want to make sure that if you were going to clean and I paused you right where you landed, all right, I can say, pause. And then I'd be like, now squat. You'd be like, absolutely. Finish the squat, right? So you want to make sure that you're landing in that power position so that you could just squat if you needed to, all right? Not landing knees forward and hips back, or hips forward as well. So focus on those positions. Make sure we're really working for quality here. You only have 6 total count. So what this is going to look like in the workout, I'm just going to cycle through a couple reps here. We clean, we push, we switch sides. We take it to our floor position, and we switch sides. And we just keep working through that for 6 total reps. So you can go through that movement pretty smoothly and pretty quickly, especially depending on what kind of load you have. So really focus on kind of zoning in those few pieces the good hinge position, that landing position, and that overhead position. 3 key positions to think about when taking down this workout. Now, the other movement we have in this work set today is our air squat. So our air squat is, again, a foundational movement in our work set. So we want to make sure our feet are in our regular squat stance, just outside the shoulders, all right, or just outside the hips, depending on your positioning. And we want to make sure those knees stay nice and out, so they're nice and strong. I sit those hips to the heels, chest stays upright, knees track the toes, and I stand tall, opening up the hips and the knees. Take it back down again, and stand tall. So we're doing air squats. You can push the pace on those 21 reps, but always make sure that we're moving with good quality, and there's nothing wrong with adjusting your speed through that 21 set. If you start going fast and you're like, wow, I'm coming in my toes, slow down for a couple reps, start picking up the pace again, and then start going faster again. There's nothing wrong with playing around with that a little bit, but focus on that good quality squat. It's a foundational movement for a reason, transitions into a lot of good movement that we do here at the gym and at home right now, but I want you guys to really focus on that good clean squat. Last but not least is our double under. So we have a really nice chance to work on skipping. All right, if we have the opportunity and the space in our home, we can work on some ankle pops. So again, glutes tight, ribs tight, elbows in tight, working on the skip without the rope. We can also work the power jump, working on the timing of the double under. All right, you'll notice my body position didn't change at all when I switched from that little rebound to the power jump, just a little higher, or a little bit more time in between jumps. We can work on that to build the coordination and build the cardio necessary to maintain multiple double unders in a row. The power jump from that ankle pop is a great way to build capacity in the double unders. People always wonder, how do I get more in a row? It's that capacity to maintain that body position under the fatigue. So we want to practice that a little bit, and that's a great way to do it without having to worry about getting a rope around our feet. Another option we're going to have for you guys for that double under is our lateral dumbbell jump over, skip over, or step over with a high knee or a low knee. It's up to you on what you want to do with that. But I'll also have some other cardio options if you have the available treadmill, rower, stationary bike, who knows, whatever you have there, I'll have some different options for this work set. They're going to be quick though, so if you are doing a treadmill kind of option or one of those other ones, it's going to be off and on pretty quick. We want to make sure that the distance is fast because the workout is only 7 minutes. So we're going to take down that practice round. I'll have a couple variations for you on the bottom there as examples, but it's going to get you ready to go for that work set, which is that 7-minute AMRAP. So as a quick review on the workout, we have 7-minute AMRAP, dumbbell clean and jerk for 6 total count reps, air squat for 21, double under for 42, repeat 7 minutes. You can push the pace on this one pretty good, you guys, but it's going to be over before you know it. So take your time with certain movements in there if you need to work on some skill work. Make sure those are clean, but push where you can push. I hope you guys enjoy this one, you guys. It's going to be a good, fast, and furious work set. Happy birthday, Cynthia. Happy belated birthday, Gwen. I hope you guys have an extra special day today. Extending your birthday celebration there, Gwen. And Cynthia, well, we can just extend yours too. We'll just celebrate it all week long. But I hope you guys have a fantastic day. We'll see you tomorrow for some good programming. As always, work for quality, have tons of fun, and we'll see you very soon. Bye, you guys.